Hello. Let's finish a panel the easy way. Last time we worked so hard on this first panel. We worked so hard to learn how to draw feet. Oh, so much sketching and studying. Let's take the easy way out this time. We're gonna use 3D modeling. I use a program called DesignDoll to set up my 3D models. I use Autodesk Sketchbook to draw, and to keep track of my references, I use PureRef and XNView. In the grand scheme of things, we are here, Book 2, Page 2 of We Are No One, my graphic novel which you can read at yourfacespretty.com. I use DesignDoll over other modeling programs for a couple reasons. One is performance, one is that it allows using multiple dolls in a scene so you can make complex multi-person poses. As you can see, I already have a doll in place. I have saved versions of all my characters, and this one was already set up for page 1 of the book. Another powerful feature of DesignDoll are these blocks, which you can see I have built a chair out of. This chair is now the same size across the whole scene, and I just don't have to worry about it. And I've just realized that I slightly shifted 16's proportions, so I'm going to reload just the morphs from another file. It's really great getting to lean on a 3D model for really detailed hand gestures like this. I can worry about the specifics of how tense the tendons need to be and how much pressure is applied, while the program will handle all of the foreshortening for me. And I have zero shame about that. I love my tools. My tools mean that I get to take drawings farther faster. I used to feel really guilty using stuff like this, and I think a lot of people still do, and I think that's silly. Like, it's easier to draw with a pencil than it is to finger paint. Is it cheating to use a pencil? It's not like it doesn't take skill to use a tool, and it's not like it doesn't take skill to know which tool you want. If somebody knows how to get rid of this silhouette in the lower right-hand corner, I really tried to figure out what its deal was, but then I realized I was spending too much time. Easy is the name of the game. I put the legs down because I changed the pose in the last panel. It shifts the hips a little bit. It's a better pose. I'm glad I did that. Yeah, let's pop this in here and get drawing. Let's get to the exciting part. Put on this peaceful music and I'm doing all the easy things, and I'm just gonna fall asleep recording this if we don't get to some good drawing. Yeah, do it, do it, do it. Let's check out these arms and see what happens when we take this framework and we stick some actually active muscles on it. It would be a lot easier if I had muscles. Luckily we're drawing 16, who has also been isolated in a small room for more than a year. 2020 jokes. Love it. As I pointed out in the last video, the way that you frame a drawing has a lot to do with the kind of look it ends up with at the end. So I'm being extra careful not to follow this guide too closely. Use my own squishy stuff to determine the real line work, and only follow the model for foreshortening and that kind of thing. I know what happens if I get too precise about following a Barbie doll, basically. It gets rigid, strangely. At some point I need to do some wrist studies. Like, not hands, but specifically wrists. There seem to be specific points where the fat and the muscle attach that leave dimples and folds, and I seem to have a knack for choosing the wrong spots to put those things. This blue lining that I'm doing now is to track the fluffier tissue? That's not what I mean. The squishier parts. The things that are being affected by gravity and pressure. I I know that I have some bad habits that I gotta watch out for here. I tend to make my torsos too short and my shoulders too narrow, and I am not that skilled at breasts. I also have to play a little game with one of the shortcomings of DesignDoll, which is that the middle finger doesn't move from side to side properly. Which it absolutely does in real life, and I'm not really sure why that's a thing. So when I want all the fingers to be close together, I have to do a bit of fidgeting. Fidgeting with these thumb folds bit. Not sure I got that one. Yeah, that helps. Okay, let's deal with this bolt. So they pulled out a bunch more wood, so it should be deeper than the last one. And that'll be easier to show near the edge. Oh wait, no, that's not how structures work. Bolts go through two things so they can hold things together. Move that over. Ooh, I like that little line there. I like the pressure on her shoulder. Good job, past self. If you can just do that every time we need to show something like that, please. Now let's throw some folds on everything. Little shirty folds, little panty folds. Yeah? Yeah, finger folds. Foldy folds. This finger feels weird. I feel like I did that thing where I made my first knuckle like way too long. Let's try that again. As the foreshortening is confusing me. So for 3D models, this would have taken like 3 hours to figure out otherwise. Just blast through this in an hour or something. It's wild. Tools are great. Look, we're already blocking in the color. Speaking of, if I wanted to be really fast, I could use the bucket tool to do this. I was thinking about this while I was watching this back the first time. But I think that I just like doing it this way. I think it just feels good. I like going back over the drawing and like kind of putting my hands on all of it and being like, does this feel solid? And I like that it leaves my coloring a little bit organic, which is something that a lot of digital art can miss. It doesn't feel like it was made by a human. And I think that's important for the specific kind of storytelling that I'm doing. I don't think it's important for every piece of art, certainly. One of the nice things about having a model under here is that I know that I have something to lean on with my shading if I absolutely have to. Now, DesignDoll only handles one source of lighting at a time, so it's not entirely accurate to what's going on in this scene. There are at least 2 light sources here. 2 primary ones, certainly. So, similar to the last panel, I'm being a bit soft about where the light is coming from exactly. Something my past self wouldn't have been okay with, but present self is like, yes, please just take those shortcuts, let's get through this. If the lighting is good enough that it conveys the right tone, and that you can see what's going on, it's not a big deal, unless the scene is literally about where somebody put a lamp. Okay, I'm gonna go back on that a little bit. I think it is a little bit important, specifically for somebody with a style like mine, to keep their light sources a little bit consistent because, for distractible people like me, if colors are shifting around really rapidly, or relative values are shifting around really rapidly, it can be hard to tell how deep or how far away things are from each other, or even which character is which. I like to keep things the same if I don't want to call attention to them. It's so hard to talk about art, everything depends. Now we're gonna hit just a little bit of bounce light. Not all the bounce light in the world. I used to do that, and it causes chaos. Just enough to show that things are stuck together. Get that really bright green bouncing onto the arm and onto the shirt. Take advantage of some of that yellow. Throw that blue everywhere. Oh, and here's the real point of the picture. It wasn't even in this sketch. You guys didn't even realize this was secretly just about Feathered Dinosaur. which I am being way too detail-oriented. I have 2 references open right now, and I'm making sure that the scuffs on her shirt align with the other 2. I do not need to be doing this. This is not easy. I shouldn't have been doing that. It's not part of the game. Throwing down some little wiggle lines here, so we can tell that they're really working it. And as always, the last step is to pump up my highlights. Oh wait, no, I did one more thing. I added a little bit of the swirliness, which you might recognize if you're familiar with my work for the float peoples of the world. Just a little bit of swirliness. She's a little bit of a swirly kind of person. It also helps make things even more solid because I follow the contour of her form to do it. It's just a little extra cheatiness. And through the power of cheatiness, we get to mark this off our list. Woo! On to the next one. Let's see what we got. Oh, this one's gonna be easy too. This is too easy. We gotta do something else. I almost had nothing to say this time. Let's skip some pages. Next time, let's do this problem sequence. Let's do a full sequence next time. Woo! Exciting times! See you around.